So we wanted to begin this webinar, and some people are saying no, some people are saying yes. So the webinar series that we're going to do today is all about the control unit. And I wanted to give everybody a demo in it so they can see how simple and easy it is to set up a session. And it is just like the IMRS, where everything works from left to right. You power the unit up, select your applicator, select your time, select your intensity. You can change the organ clock and start. It's really that simple. So I'm going to walk you through this here. The first thing I wanted to show everybody is the new control unit, and then we'll get a live demo with this as well too. And the housing and pedestal is a brushed aluminum. The screen is a 10.2-inch capacitive touch screen with an LCD display, 2 earphone jacks, a USB jack, and 1 cord connection for the 20-pin cable. And the great thing about the new IMRS is that we have all new cords with it. So there's no longer the clip that you would put on to make it a universal adapter. You will now get 3 cords with every unit. So they work in the different countries. But every single unit is going to have 3 cords, which are all geared to the proper plugs, but there'll be no more clips. This is a close-up of the DA converter, the connector box. So people who have the Omnium always had to do the twist. Well, the new IMRS Prime, they're actually clip-ins. So there's no more twisting in order to get the applicator plugged in. When you power the unit up, this is going to be your first introductory screen. So it will give you the contradictions, very similar to the IMRS, and then you would hit start. This is going to be your main home control panel. So as you can see, you have access to the iGuide, hybrid, fast start, manual operation, split mode, trial, and program mode. Program mode is where if you have individual people in there and you have programmed special sessions you want them to follow or special applications you want them to follow, then you can actually create individualized protocols for people as well too. So this is the home screen, and I'm going to show real quick the manual operation. So it's very simple. Once you hit start, you would come to this screen right here, and you have the 4 steps that are also the same as the IMRS. You would select your applicator, you would select the time, you would select your intensity, and then you can change the organ clock if that's something that you would like to do as well. And then you would hit continue. The 2 boxes on the right-hand side are the Hexagon Sense and the Hexagon Brain. And tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to get into the Hexagon Sense and heart rate variability. So I'll introduce those to you at that time. But until we're going to focus just on the manual operations, we're going to take it slowly and we're going to get everybody completely comfortable explaining and starting their own sessions. So 4 easy steps, the same as the IMRS: applicator, time, intensity, organ clock. Then you would have the start button. So when you hit start, you would then see the screen on the right. One of the new features is it has a pause button. So if the phone rings, you need to go quick get up, something happens, you can hit pause and go do what you need to do and be able to come back. We also have on the screen where it will show you the organ clock setting. It will show you the intensity, the applicator, as well as the polarity. So we have all of these features on there on the screen for you. So it is that easy to start a session. Then we have the hybrid, and I'm going to show you a quick demo with the hybrid as well. So on the control unit, I wanted to also point out, I know people are very asking about the different warranty. The IMRS Prime has a 3-year warranty on the control unit DA applicators. We're getting feedback yet from the Hexagon Sense and the Hexagon Brain, the goggles and the clip. We'll have an update on the warranty for those. But everything, the control unit, the DA converter, all of that has a 3-year warranty with the applicators as well. So starting a hybrid session, it begins at the same. You would hit start. You come to the home screen and you want to do the hybrid session. So you would do hybrid. You do the same 4 steps. You select the applicator. So you would have to select the far infrared applicator in order to get the hybrid session. You set the time, you set the intensity, and you can choose your organ clock. You have one additional step with the hybrid is that you're going to select the temperature. So you can then select the temperature and it's in centigrades. And then after that, you would hit the continue, the green button, and your application starts. Again, very, very simple. So you would have this information on the screen just as the other one as well. So it's really that easy to show somebody how to start a session. With the IMRS Prime, I just wanted to review that real quick with you before we start the live session. So these are the set, and this is the price. So I'm going to switch over here back to the camera, and then we can do a live session. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so I pinned the screen. Does everybody now see the control unit here with the, you can do it in chat and just say if you can see it, the control unit here. Excellent. So I'm gonna do a walkthrough and show everybody exactly what I just showed on the keynote here. And the time does go 1 minute to 60. And this is where, I'll give you a quick snapshot, but this is where you would set up the Hexagon Sense. Right now it is inactive, but that is exactly how you would make it active. It's that simple. So if somebody does do the Hexagon Sense with their IMRS Prime bundle, this is how easy it is to integrate it. And this gives you a snapshot of what the screen looks like. I do have the Hexagon Sense feature on it. So it is, let me put the clip on so we can get some data. So what it is doing right now, it is searching for the information, but you can see here how the screen will look like. The time is on the bottom of the graph, and then it will do the 7 intensity levels as well too. And we do have the pause button on here as well. So you can see how convenient that is in case you have to get up, or maybe you want to do a certain amount of minutes and then you want to pause it. So you can see the SpO2 came in at 97. The heart rate, 88, not bad for doing a presentation and doing the control unit. And on the right-hand side, you can see where it has the polarity, it has the applicator. So you have all this information as well in it. You do have the pause button, so you can pause a session, and then it comes back up and it says resume. And you will have tones that also let you know that it does come in and it does go out. So you have some tones. I'm not sure if you can hear them, but it does have the tones similar to the Omnium as well as the IMRS. So when you finish a session, you are then able to go back to the home screen, and you would see up in the upper bar here, it does have the home. And then it takes you right back. So what I'll do is I'll show you the iGuide real quick. So say you wanted to utilize the iGuide with people. You also have the letters on the right-hand side of the screen. So you're able to do a quick scroll down to a specific letter. And I selected wound healing because it was right there. And you'll then come up with the applicator selection, and it's very similar. And here again, you could see because the Hexagon brain is integrated into the system. So it's going to ask you here if you would like to set that up. At this time, we don't have the Hexagon brain, so they are inactive. If you wanted to go back, so you wanted to select a different iGuide, there's also the back button right next to the home button. And the cool thing about it that I like is that it actually gives you a list of what the protocols are for the application selected. Let me see if I can get this a little bigger. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it. I'm still getting my camera skills a little bit, but you will give all the specific, what applicator, the intensity, the organ clock, everything that is selected for that iGuide protocol. And we have the split mode, which we had shown before. So as you can see, you can run completely two separate systems. On the right-hand side, I have the Hexagon Sense with a whole body mat, the far infrared. And on the left-hand side, I have the pad plugged in. So two different completely PMF sessions are going at the same time. One of them is actually integrating the accessories, the Hexagon Sense, and the other one is utilizing the pad. And those are how simple the fast starts are. So you have a selection of those as well. So you have the balance, sleep, activation, relax. You have performance, and you also have the regeneration, and then you have the Savecchio scales. So you have all of these quick starts where if somebody goes to the start screen, hit start, all they would have to do is hit a quick start and you would be able to begin a session. It makes it quick and simple. And we'll have information in our certification classes of what protocols, PEMF, as well as brainwave entrainment are all integrated into these fast starts. So for example, if you are utilizing the Hexagon brain with a fast start program, the tones and the light are all integrated into that frequency spectrum. So you'll have a holistic session application where the light stimulation, the sound stimulation, the pulse electromagnetic field will all be integrated into that same session. So I'm going to, does anybody have any questions right now? You could tap them in the chat box and then I can demonstrate or answer those questions. So all of these features are available with the IMS Prime Basic. The course, when they put that up in the back office, we don't have the ETA. They're working as fast as they can, you know, given the coronavirus, plus the programmers, the website designers, the marketing individuals. All of this is happening together. And the fact that people can't get into the same location, you can't cross borders in Europe. So everything is just taking a little bit longer in order to have all of that perfected. But in the back office, we've already started posting webinars. So you can see a lot of that information. Now, I'm going to have to, I'm going to write that down about changing the centigrade to Fahrenheit. I will find out if that feature is available now or if that will be something that will come on a firmware update. On the last webinar, people had questions about the firmware update. For example, maybe the Fahrenheit feature is not available with this firmware update, but eventually it will be, and that will be something that when you do a firmware update, that feature will then be available. And the firmware updates are very, very simple. You would just go to the website, use a USB stick, download it, and then put it into the system, hit update, and it automatically does everything for you. Is balance setting similar to activation setting? No, they're actually all a little bit different. And when you're looking at balance or relax or activation, all of this will be detailed in that certification course. It will go through, it will tell you all the different intensity levels that are utilized in the fast starts, because with the fast starts, it will change different frequency spectrums as well as intensity levels during your application. So you're not just getting one noon setting at 100 intensity. These fast starts are all intuitive in the sense that if you're looking for performance, it's going to use more frequencies from the alpha and beta spectrum, because alpha and beta have more stimulation than, say, theta or delta. So if you're looking for sleep or relaxation, you're going to get more of the evening and night frequency spectrums, which are associated with the delta and theta. So we're utilizing the stimulation that is coming from the energy wave patterns, and you'll be able to then integrate that into the experience for the user. So if that individual is doing it in the afternoon or around 1 p.m. and they still have a work day, then they would probably want to do some activation. Say they want to go to the gym afterwards, maybe they would do performance. So all of this is going to integrate into the experience that the user is coming and making it very simple. So when you're explaining the fast starts, you really would just say, well, what type of experience with the IMRS Prime are you looking to experience, get into? And depending on what they say, meditation, prayer, I want to go work out, I want to regenerate before sleep, you would then utilize that in order to make fast start suggestions. Now, the Savecchio scales, we're going to go into a whole webinar about, because they are new to almost all of us. And basically, every other fast start utilizes the triple sawtooth waveform. But at this time, the Savecchio scale 9, because we are delivering specific frequencies, it utilizes a sine wave. So again, we're going to utilize that. We're sending it out to the pre-orders next week. And then we're going to get some feedback as well. But the great thing about this unit being able to do firmware updates is that we all are then able to do suggestions, provide feedback, and then these can all be integrated into the system. Of course, you can utilize the whole body mat alone as a standalone applicator, or you can integrate it with the brain. But if anyone did have epilepsy, that is a contraindication. So they would need to have permission from a physician in order to utilize it, because it is a contraindication. But you can either choose to use the brain, or you cannot choose to use the brain. And that would be like on a fast start. This right here is going to have, once the brain is available, you'll see another one that says hexagon brain, inactive or active. And the user would just select that, whether they would like that feature or whether they do not want that feature. And again, it all based on what the user is getting out of that experience. And that is really one of the core benefits of the IRMS Prime. It's all about creating a user experience utilizing different modalities from the electromagnetic spectrum as well as sound. I'm just going to run through the setup screen and like the operations, just so you can see about what is available to set right now. And let me take a look. The trial application, we're actually going to have 2 webinars for that, because you're going to be able to change the waveform on all the applicators. And what I mean by that is, with the trial version, you can utilize a triple sawtooth with the pillow pad. You can utilize a sine wave with the pillow pad. So you're going to have various waveforms which you're able to use. So the trial version, we're going to be doing 2 webinars. Also with that, you're basically going to be up to 1 millitesla intensity, which is basically 999 microtesla. We're all used to microtesla with the IMRS. But you're also able to now to do a higher intensity range, and you're also able to do a much broader frequency spectrums as well. So they're going to be a lot, because in reality, what you are doing is creating pulse trains. And anyone who utilizes magnetic transcranial stimulation, what you're going to be doing is basically the dosage of the magnetic field is all a pulse train. This individual, this subject, needs 7.5 hertz delivered with the pulse packet, 2-second intervals. And so all of this is going to be coming. The Cubios is a free software downloadable from the Cubios website. We have the Hexagon Sense webinar this evening, and we're going to go into more detail with that. But Cubios, we do have that integrated. So basically, the user would put their data onto the USB into their laptop or computer, and that's how they would get the Cubios printout. So the printout, the HRV, is really all with the Cubios software, and we're going to go down, review that information at 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Well, of course, there's liability for people who do not follow the contraindications. That's with any type of medical device or medical product. Safety is our #1 concern, safety and education. So if someone has any type of serious medical condition, they should really consult a physician before utilizing any type of complementary and alternative modalities. So yes, there is liability to a distributor if someone does not follow the contraindications if you advise them. Yes, you're able to get the sawtooth and the pillow pad. Most physicians are familiar with pulse electromagnetic fields. They just don't call it PEMF. They've been utilizing transcranial magnetic stimulation for years. They use bone stimulators since the 70s. It's basically pulse electromagnetic fields. So if you tell your physician, are you familiar with a bone stimulator? They also use spine stimulators. A lot of physicians are familiar with that. So you have the spine stimulator, the bone stimulator, vagus nerve stimulators that are able to be utilized as well. And those are on the modalities, which are the treatments. They use MRI is basically utilizing a magnetic field ultrasound. So people are utilizing electromagnetic fields in general all over traditional medicine, but they are just not familiar with the name PEMF because PEMF is like automobile. It's a generic name because technically the IMRS is utilizing magnetic resonant stimulation, which is the specific form of PEMF that is being utilized. So transcranial magnetic stimulation is the specific form of PEMF that is utilized for non-pharmaceutical resistant depression. So, and we're going to be doing a whole webinar on how you talk to physicians and medical personnel about what these units are doing. So they are very familiar with it, and we just need to put it into their language, but their language is all the way already there. It's just that they don't call it the same names. And until we educate them that they already do possess this body of knowledge about PEMF, we just have to show similarities. And we are going to have a whole webinar about that. Okay, so I'm just checking out the questions here. Now I'm going to go back to the control unit real quick. I just want to show you just some like setup features. We have the gearbox up here. And so this is where you're able to do the display, the time, language, contraindications, music management, system information, factory reset, tones, the display. So we have a whole bunch. A great feature with this is the manuals are all going to be into the system. So Kubios will explain tonight at the 7 p.m. So you'll have the manual in there. They're also investigating a lot of more features. Say somebody buys an IMRS Prime Basic from you. Then 6 months later, they would like a hybrid. They're also investigating on having little pop-up menus. So say somebody's at the home screen, and right now they have an IMRS Prime Advanced. So they do not have the hybrid here. It would be grayed out. So if that individual actually touched the hybrid, they are now looking into developing where it will have it pop up on the system and let them know how much it will be in order for them to get the activation code to set up the hybrid. And then because you are the representative distributor with the unit, that commission would then be paid to you for that upgrade. So they're really looking to make these where people are able to have a journey with it as their own experience and education grows. Maybe they don't understand why they would want far infrared with PEMF, or why they would want an hexagon sense to be able to do brainwave entrainment. that is something that then with the education, they may begin to understand why they would want it. And on further updates down the line, it's not going to be anything that is on the units that will ship in the next couple months. But this is another possibility of with the firmware updates to have the system be able to integrate and show people why they would want these additional features and make it a one-stop shop. Because basically, once you have the unit, all you would need is an activation code in order to unlock that hybrid feature. Is it working for fitness and keep dieting and lose weights? How long and what's the intensity he or she use? Now, if somebody, I'm not sure what the question is there, but if somebody is basically exercising and watching their diet, the intensity that they would use is all individualized. There is no, I mean, if we had specific protocols such as take 2 of these and call me in the morning, PMF would already be in, protocols would already be developed. But that is one of the hindrances right now, is that somebody who has the same condition can use different intensities and still get benefit because it is all an individualized experience. And that is the importance of the Hexagon Sense, because it is taking that individual biofeedback information and creating precision medicine. You are getting a precision dosage of the magnetic field parameters based on your biometrics. If the body is beginning to feel stressed, it's going to adjust the intensity. So all of this is going into the unit to make it a more precise experience for the user. I would not agree with that it is a more office operations. In this environment, everybody needs to take care of their health and wellness. I mean, watch the news. Is anybody going to really help you, or you have to help yourself? Don't look for the government to bring you a mask and PPE and a respirator. You have to go out and secure one yourself. So it's every person's job to make sure that their body is in optimal functioning. And you can talk with Diane Bays and Mike Bays in Portland. They're creating a whole room in their house, their son's bedroom, who had moved out and got married. And it is going to be a healthy space. And that is actually the name of Diane's company, Healthy Spaces. And it's all about how you need to get up every morning and make sure you're in the top physical condition, because who knows when these viruses will come or won't come. But as we have learned from our experience going through quarantine and the coronavirus, you have to take responsibility for your health, because no one's coming for you. You have to make sure that you have a space in your house where you, your family, your pets, your loved ones, every day make it a priority. With this quarantine, we have realized that this is a lifestyle for us now. This is all about maintaining and optimizing the individual's health, utilizing energies, because we are all energetic beings, and no chemical reaction happens in the body without an electrical stimulus first. So if your electrical wiring is malfunctioning, poor signals, your chemicals will also then be hindered due to the poor energetic environment with inside of your body. And there are theories and hypotheses that we've all heard about, that if you maintain the optimal cell membrane potentials, you have the best possibility to fight off any disease and illness. And if anyone has been following the coronavirus, one of the areas which they have found out that actually mitigates it and helps prevent the spread of it is ultraviolet light. They're thinking about, there's a Otis, I believe is the German elevator company, and they're putting ultraviolet light at specific frequencies in the elevators, because it is already known that this waveform of ultraviolet light kills bacteria and viruses. They use it to disinfect surfaces. So it is going to be all about utilizing energies. And Wolfgang made a prediction that in the future, viruses, diseases will all be treated and healed with frequencies, energies, because that is where everything is headed. And once you understand how all of this works with inside of the human body, you will be on that unit just as I am multiple times a day. And Pamela, you are right. This is all about vibrational lifestyles, and voltage is the key. So we're coming up to the, yes, keep your resonance high. And that's all what this is all about. Elevating your frequency. Because I personally, truly believe that if you raise your frequency to a certain level, disease and illness will not be able to attack you. And that's just my personal belief. It's nothing in medicine or science or has anything to do with the company or the product, but it is all about vibrations, energies. And I had just read an article where our smart devices will begin to recharge on our own bodies, because the energy produced by our body has enough in it to power a smartwatch. So one day as well, we'll do a webinar just on where all of this is going, all of the research, but that is exactly what this all is about. With the Hexagon Sense, which we're going to learn about tonight, each one of us has a resident frequency. Because, for instance, researchers have found that your alpha brainwave is a sawtooth brainwave. And at the high peak value of your alpha brainwave, it creates resonance. Some refer to it as coherence. And the heart rate is actually a harmonic of the high peak alpha brainwave. So that is how your mind's energies all adjust to help your body fall into coherence. Because those sawtooths create the harmonics and each system in your body responds to different harmonics, it is so important to keep that system functioning well. So the cost, Hermina has the information in there as well. And let's, the cost, Hermina can send you to Karen if you want to reach out to Hermina. She's actually on here as the name Max Poiter. So if you want to just send her a quick chat, she can email you. We also have a webinar in the back office with all that information as well. And the pricings are all going to come out. But the pricing for the basic unit starts at $4,490. And it goes all the way up basically to the trial set, which is about $10,000. So we have a whole gamut of price ranges for every single individual. And as well, they're all upgradable with activation codes. So all somebody would have to do is call the office, get an activation code, and up-program their unit. And every unit sold, the original unit is tied to that distributor, that representative. So any upgrades or any time they would call the office with the IRMRS Prime, all the upgrades, the commission, maybe they want the far infrared applicator, maybe they have a split mode and they want 2 spots or 2 pillow pads. Maybe they want to watch Netflix and the spouse wants to use a pillow pad too, so they use 2 pillow pads. They are all tied to that individual, that representative. And when you get your commission statement, there could be extra upgrades on there as well. So those are the costs. We will have all of that information published. And the whole body mat actually is the, it is a high quality covering and is actually a medical grade. The covering for the units actually have their own medical grade certificate, because we are all utilizing medical components, whether it's plugs, whether it's coverings, whether it is the cords. They're all medical grade applicators, parts, I guess you could say. The IMRS Prime or the IMRS WellFit Complete will always be serviceable, just as we've, since 2011, when they stopped production on the MRS 2000, we, obviously still honor the warranties and we still service them as well. But we have about 15 minutes left, so I'm going to unmute Hermina, and then she is able to give the last remaining marks here in the last 15 minutes. And you're on, Hermina.
Thank you, Greg. Great, great presentation. Boy, does it get us familiar more and more. Beautifully done. Thank you. Actually, I would now simply like to add what Wolfgang mentions during every Zoom call. Nothing has changed in the new model when it comes to the effect of the body. I'm not talking now about the trial, okay? Being from Munich, as you can hear, where I received all my education, PEMF education, I was able to experience the very, very first electromagnetic field device. It's going back to the late 1970s. Then a change in the 1990s, just in looks, followed by all other generations up to now. Each generation had and always will have the same 4 parameters, which made our pulse magnetic field device so very unique. Now, as you may know, these parameters are magnetic field strength, wave signal frequency, and resonance. I'd like to capitalize resonance as the most important phenomenon. So what's resonance? In a very simple way, understandable even by our youngest user, resonance or resonating is doing the same thing or singing the same song. Better yet, having my song amplified by singing in harmony. So if you explain this to a health professional, you may have to say, resonance is using precisely those oscillations with which a cell or the entire organism oscillates independently. So if our body is capable of resonating with the mat, which mimics the magnetic field of the earth, doesn't it suggest that we also must have a magnetic field in the body? Yes, we do. The hypothalamus, the command center of our brain, oscillates or resonates with the same frequencies as the Earth's magnetic field, namely 7.83 Schumann hertz, named after the German scientist O.W. Schumann, who discovered this in 1958. So going back to the cell, all our 75 trillion cells understand each other, communicate, and function via electromagnetic impulses. Now you have it, which need to be amplified by the Earth's magnetic field. Every single one of these tiny little cells are a sophisticated power plant by itself. So all we truly are is energy. So when a few of these powerhouses shut down, trouble begins. When the cell loses 60% of its energy, it stops working and uses the remaining 40% to survive. Healthy cells take over immediately to do the job. If the energy loss continues, the body or a specific organ signals that there is something wrong. Cells are either energy deprived, weak, or unhealthy, and we surely feel that. Now, the following I would like you to remember. Unhealthy cells do not lose their designated frequency. However, the cell or their cells lose their voltage, their potential, which should be between 80 and 90 millivolt. And with that decreased cell voltage, their oscillation has dramatically weakened. And at perfectly or precisely this point, the resonance phenomena of the magnetic field comes into effect, because the amplitude of the weakened oscillation can be reinforced, like I said, amplified by resonance, which will recharge cells back to health. Healthy cells make a healthy body. This, of course, can only take place if cells respond to the magnetic field signal. In other words, if a frequency most closely matches their own, which we do in our med. All our MIS devices were designed to match the body's so-called own biological window. In other words, when lying on the mat, body will receive frequencies of health within the speed of light. Or expressed very tenderly, while one is on the mat, you will receive an invisible hug by Mother Earth, so badly needed, especially at the present times. The end. Okay, our time is over. Big applause to Greg, and thanks again for joining. I will stay in touch. Bye-bye.